All right.
Hello, everybody. We are on podcast number 3. This is the Gato and Gabe, or G&G for short. We're going to be talking about marriage today and how it's going to affect some of us, those on one side being married, and on the other side, those that are about to be married. So we'll start with Gato. How's marriage planning going?
Marriage planning, man. Um, so I think my case is a little bit different than most people in my area. Planning is going pretty good actually,
That's
and
good.
we still have a lot of time left before the wedding. So we're just very fortunate to have a supporting family on both ends really, but mostly on her end, who are just on top of everything and they just know every little detail. So it's been super nice.
Has it been
Um,
stressful?
Not yet, actually. It's been. I don't want to say it's stressful because again, like I said, we have a lot of time left. As far as like engagement time goes, we have what is it? So we're in April, so we have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 months left, and we only have like a couple of things left to do. Um, so no, the planning hasn't been stressful for us, and I think we are very fortunate. I feel like talking to everybody that is already married, uh, they always say that engagement is going to be like the hardest part, and so I mean, personally, I prepared for that, and I was like, okay, like this is gonna be the tough part, like making sure that we agree on things and whatnot, and if we disagree, to like be able to work on a solution. And so I've been like mentally preparing myself for this time, and now that we're here in the middle of it, I feel like we haven't really had like any um, big stressful moments or disagreements as far as it goes, as far as the wedding goes. So it's been actually kind of nice. It's been a nice ride for me.
Yeah, well, I remember when we were planning for our wedding, it was just there was like details we had to figure out, and it wasn't too stressful. I think the biggest portion that we didn't have to worry too much about the ceremony. It was more about the reception.
Hmm.
So that made things a lot easier. Uh,
How long were you engaged?
we were engaged for like less than a year. I think, and for me personally, I think anything longer than a year gets too scary and complicated. Cold feet that happens along the way.
Like, better do it now before you change your mind.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ah,
How long have you
uh,
been engaged now?
so I've been engaged for 2 months. Almost exactly 2 months. Wait, no. A day over 2 months. So I got
Wow, you
engaged.
got, you got it down to the day?
Yeah, I got engaged right before Valentine's Day, and it was not
Nice.
meant to be a Valentine's Day proposal. It's too cliche for me, and I don't like cliche stuff.
How'd you
Like
do it?
I like it for fun, but not
Yeah.
not like in seriousness, right? Um, Man, engagement. Well, so let me tell you, man.
All right.
uh, I actually went through. Let's see, how many? How many? I think I went through like 4 or 5 different engagement plans. Uh, but then none of them happened because the timing was just not, it wasn't right. There's a couple of things that needed to happen before I could propose, and so we finally came to the last one. It was just, honestly, it was man, I wouldn't call it a last minute planning, but it definitely wasn't like something that I was like it wasn't a long term plan like some of my other proposal plans. I had a lot of seasonal ones. I had a lot of ideas that involved like kind of like my birthday, which is in October. Um, I had some ideas for like winter time, like November, December. Um, and again, they were kind of like seasonal. Like I think my favorite idea was to, and I kind of was planning it, but I asked her if she wanted to go take some Christmas pictures so that we could send like Christmas cards, right? So I'm thinking, okay, so we have to go take the pictures. We have to like print them and send them. So it needs to be before Christmas, like at least 2 weeks or so. So I'm like, hey, let's take some Christmas pictures for cards. And my plan was to get a friend photographer to take funny, silly Christmas pictures, and then we would go through like different props and stuff like that. And then in one of them, like I would get handed like a little Christmas box, and so we'd be doing
Wow.
like some
Okay.
funny poses, and then suddenly I like do like the proposal, like get on one knee and stuff like that, and then like
Oh, you were trying
reveal.
to surprise her with
Yeah,
her thinking that it's just a
yeah, but
regular
it's
photo
like
shoot.
nothing. And so
Smart.
that was my favorite idea. My first idea was a summer idea, and that was to go like stargazing or go to like the planetarium or something
Yeah.
like that and do something cool with the stars or something like that. But again, time just kept happening, and the planning didn't go as planned.
It's so
And
funny. No, I had the same issue because I had so many ideas in my mind. You know, you watch like other people do it, and you're like, oh, you know what? That's a good idea. You know, as us being filmmaker people, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do show the proposal montage before the movie, before the trailers, and then propose. I always wanted to do that, and I was like, no, didn't have time.
and it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Wait, so okay, so let me tell you how I actually got proposed. But I want to hear how you did it, because I know you've told me,
Yes.
but I know we haven't told our listeners.
No, we
and,
have
and I'm
not.
sure some of them know, and most of them probably don't. So, um, so my actual proposal came to, well, I got the ring.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: the reason why I needed to be a surprise is because we chose the ring together, or at least we looked at like the two top choices, and I knew what she wanted, so I went for that one. And then later on, she's like, "Hey, I know you're supposed to choose the ring, but I really like that one." Just throwing that out there, I'm like, I picked the right one. So because she knew that I was like that I already had the ring, or that I was getting it soon, I needed the proposal to be like full on surprise. So I wanted to throw her off. So I kept like kind of like throwing little hints here and there.
Yeah.
We started planning the wedding before I proposed, which is another reason why the engagement has been kind of on the easier side. But I I pretended that I was gonna like propose right after we were planning the wedding, because we had some things like set up, and then her mom was like, "This is great, guys. Like you have like 50% of it like done. All you have to do is like get engaged." And I was like, "Well, actually," and I was like kind of like, moving, and then I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and I look at her, and then I'm like, "I'm not doing it today, but it will be happening." And so I like doing that, like throwing her off a little bit. So her mom, her sister, and we were talking at a family gathering, and I told him like, "Hey, I got the ring." I'm like, "I'm just trying to come up with some ideas." Her sister had an important day on that Saturday, and she's like, "Hey, like my family's gonna be together for this day already. I would love it if you did it on that day." She's like, "You would not be stepping in or anything like that." And I was like, "Actually, that's a pretty good idea, because it's like everybody's together for you, and in this case, I would be invited to this event that I have nothing to do
Oh,
with,
okay.
right?" And so that itself was kind of like already like throwing it off a little bit.
Yeah. Wait, question. Was that always something you wanted to do? Was like to propose in front of family?
Um, a lot of my ideas involved either like her siblings or close friends,
Okay.
and then a couple of them would be like in private. I never wanted to do like a stadium or anything like that. Like it's too much.
Yeah, no, I don't think those. You see the Disneyland ones and
Yeah.
and I've asked Brittany and I've told her, and she's like, I'm so glad you didn't do that because it's just too much.
Yeah. No, I didn't want to put that pressure on her. I didn't
Yeah.
want to put the pressure on me.
Even though you knew
So-
she was gonna say yes, though, right?
Yeah, but it's still nerve wracking.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, so we planned it around her sister's day, And so I pretended that I didn't know anything about it. And so her sister's like, well, let's do something after my event. And I was like, why don't you suggest a game night and talk to her about it? And then her and I have talked about some games that we wanted to play with friends. And I'm like, I'll just kind of bring some games up, and then I'll throw this specific game that I think would be really good. So she did that, and Amber would text me, and she's like, "Hey, so we're gonna be doing this on this day. Um, like, we need some games. Like, I've been assigned like the gaming part of it, like at night for board games and whatnot." And this was a big deal also because of her grandparents, because they were gonna play with us, which is something they never do. So it's like, okay, we gotta make something fun, right? Uh, no card games, and so I was like, perfect. Like that's part of the plan. And so I threw a few ideas, but the main idea was this minute to win it game, where you blindfold yourself, and you try to scoop up cotton balls with a spoon, and then you put them in a bowl.
Okay.
And then after the minute, you take the blindfold off, and then you see who
You'd
wins,
be
right?
on your knees.
So yeah, it's
Okay.
exactly.
All
So
right,
that's
all
the
right.
plan. So I throw that idea in there. I'm like, hey, how about that game you were talking about? This was your idea, basically. And I was like, how about that game you were talking about? We could play that with your family. And she's like, oh yeah, that's great. So she tells the sister, and so I'm like, okay, everything is falling in place perfectly. And the day comes, and something funny is I didn't know her whole family knew that this was happening. I thought it was just her mom and her sister, maybe a couple of other siblings, but then like uh, a future brother-in-law was like, "So are you nervous?" And I'm like, "Do you know?"
Oh, he know? He
Like
knew.
what? And so everybody's like I realized that everybody knew, and so that made me even more nervous. It's because everybody's just kind of like waiting on me. And when we got started with the games, it still took a little bit for us to get to that game, and so it just made it more. The anticipation was kind of killing me a little bit. So when we talked about the game, we decided we're gonna play each other. Obviously, we're gonna compete against each other. And so we get our blindfolds on. They start the timer, and I take my blindfold off, and so Amber's just like scooping up, and we're competing. And then I just run over to my backpack and get the ring box, and I run back over. Um, my friend, our brother-in-law, was there like pretending to be me to make noise, so to throw her off. And then at the end of the minute, I'm already there next to her on one knee with the ring up. And then she takes the blindfold off, and then she looks around, and then she looks at me, and she looks at the ring, and she's like,
That
and it was
exact
really
face.
cute. Huh?
That exact face, huh?
Just like that.
Wow.
And then yeah, and then I proposed, and then she said yes, and everybody's like, yay, okay, let's go home. Uh, okay, no, not like that, but yeah, so that's how I proposed.
And you weren't
Uh,
nervous at all.
oh no, I was super nervous.
I mean, did
Um,
you, were you at
so
least like shaking or something or no?
um, yes, a little bit. I wasn't like super shaky.
Yeah.
I got a little teared up when I was asking the question.
Do you
I
remember do you remember what you said?
Yeah, I do actually,
That's
and
good. No,
we
that's
do have
good.
video of it too, so that's good. But it's cute, but it's cringy, so I don't watch it. But if anybody else can watch it, it's fine. Uh, One thing though is, uh, so someone,
Uh-huh.
you, uh, gave me a hint as to like I made a very conscious decision to not eat like a lot of heavy food or dried food, fried, I mean food, or anything like that, because I was scared to get the nervous poops. And honestly, I think I would have gotten them, because this is probably the most like nervous I've been in a very, very long time.
No, it's true.
And
Nervous poops is real.
it's a real thing. And so I'm glad that I didn't eat a lot, and I was trying to like keep it like very, very low on my food intake uh until right before, and because I was feeling a little, I don't want to say like faint, but I was like, I need to eat something, so I had a couple
Right.
slices of pizza, and But yeah, I'm glad that I didn't get that.
No, I made the mistake of eating before, literally before, and we had like a big meal, like steak and mashed potatoes. I think it was like a Texas
That's a lot.
Roadhouse type of place, and it was funny because she kind of knew it was coming,
Hmm.
um,
But
and
she
she,
knew it was happening that day.
sort of. She's the type that you can't hide anything from her, so it was. But she she gets mad at me because she didn't have any time to do her makeup at all. So
Uh,
and the photos that we took, you don't see any makeups. But anyway, right before the engagement, I had the same thoughts. I was like, you know what, I want to do something amazing. I even thought about doing something with my drone, like, we go to the park or to the mountains, and then I'd have like in writing lights. Actually, I'd be like, oh, check out this drone, and fly up, and then just say, will you marry me, all that stuff. And I
yep.
had all those cool ideas, and like you said, just no time. But that idea was the idea I had was from a friend of hers, and she suggested to me, it's like, why don't you just do an escape room? Because escape rooms during the time, that was our thing. We loved going to escape rooms. So I was like, that's a great idea. And they had one in North Dakota where her parents were,
Mhm.
and and I did this whole cool thing where I called the people ahead of time. I was like, hey, I'm thinking of proposing to my fiance. Wait, no, that's after you get proposed, but to my girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, let's do this. This is cool. I'm sure it was like a cool marketing thing for them too. But we get there. I sneakily give them the ring, and they hide it in like the last puzzle or whatever. And so we get in. They're telling all the instructions. It's kind of funny because they were trying to show us like this room they're remodeling out of the blue, so that way they had time to put in the ring inside the puzzle.
Mhm.
And so that was like one of the few times that tipped her off. She's like, oh, something's fishy going on. Anyway, we get in, we're doing the puzzle, and at this point I'm like, I'm not even thinking about the puzzle. Like, the most easiest puzzles that you think of, like, I couldn't think because I was just so nervous. I couldn't process anything. And because of that meal I had before, I was just, like you said, nervous poops. And so I had to call them because they had like a walkie-talkie thing. I was like, can I go to the bathroom? So then I leave her in the escape room.
Wait. Was it just the two of you?
Yeah, it was just two of us. And
Oh,
yeah.
so you left her alone. Oh no.
Because I made sure. I was like, I didn't want other people to be there. It'd be too awkward, blah, blah, blah. And they
Mhm.
were totally fine with accommodating that. And so I went to the bathroom and just let it all out. I was just like, all the dinner I had, we just went out. And so
Get out of here. Yeah.
so then I went back in. And by that point, I think she was trying to like do some other puzzles and trying to like work with me. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, I was just not even all
So
there.
was she the one that answered like is she the one that solved all the puzzles because you were too nervous to even focus on the puzzles? Or did you know some of the answers so that you can
No, they
actually
didn't.
get to the end?
They didn't give us. Well, I didn't know anything, and so the timer was actually running out. So
Yeah, what if you
you
didn't
could
make it?
you could tell the guy was like trying to give us clues because I think we were down to like 15 minutes,
Yeah.
and I think we were like not even halfway through, and so they were like they were feeding us like all the answers, like, oh, I think you should do this, you should do that, because the
Yeah.
puzzle was like still far away. But thankfully
Yeah.
we made it, got the ring, and then got on one knee. Then I don't remember anything. I don't remember anything I said because I was so
Did
nervous.
the people like not record it or anything like that through their like cameras?
I don't know. I didn't ask him to. I should have did. I
Yeah,
know.
you should have.
I know. Wasted.
That's all right. Um, I made the same mistake with Amber. She asked me that whenever I did it to make sure that she was presentable, and she was, but
Okay.
but I know that she wasn't as presentable as she wanted to be or she would have liked to be, I think. And it's really dumb because so I knew it was gonna happen. It's a big day, right?
Right.
And so I dress nice. I dress like with a button up shirt with a sweater, like kind of really fancy, yeah. Not like formal, but just nice, very very decent. And I don't dress like this very often. Like I like to, but it's a once in a blue moon that I dress super nice like this. Um, and so I go over to her house before we head to her parents' house, and she's in like sweats and a t-shirt. And so I was like, oh no, but it's a big deal. Like, why is she not, like, I'm thinking here, like, why is she not dressed nice? Like, we're gonna go to her parents' house to like, have dinner and game night and everything. And so she looks at me and she's like, whoa, you look nice. And I'm like, yeah, it's a
Same thing.
big day.
Same thing happened with me.
I wanted to, feel cool and whatnot. And then she's like, oh, I guess I should probably dress up a little bit too, huh? And I'm like, I mean, if you want, whatever. And I'm just here like, take the hint that I'm dressed really nice for you to dress really nice, like we sometimes we like to match like how we dress, like in styles. It's not, like it happens on its own anyway, so sometimes
Subconscious.
Mm-hmm. So sometimes
that's a good sign already right there.
Right, I think so. And so sometimes we do change like a little bit of the wardrobe just to like so we can match it a little bit better. And so with that in mind, I had hoped that she would take note of what I was wearing and she would dress a little nicer.
Match. Okay.
Now she did dress nice. I liked how she dressed. She did say later, like, I should have known. I should have dressed nicer. And I was like, I thought you looked good. I always think she looks good. But yeah, maybe I should have been a little bit stronger with a hint. But I
think
was
maybe
also
that's a good one of the tips that we should probably tell. If you're gonna propose, you gotta prepare ahead of time so that way they can dress up super nice.
Yeah, there's gonna be pictures taken. You gotta make sure she is looking nice and that she's comfortable too.
I think that's a good idea that the whole photography, like you're gonna take cute photos or whatever. That way they're ahead of time prepared. Looking.
Well, that was the reason actually why I had that idea. It's because she had asked me,
right,
that whenever I did it, that she would be dressed up nice, and so I was like, well, pictures, like you have to like do your hair, do your makeup, choose your outfit and stuff like that. One of my other ideas was to like go swimming or something like that, and then
swimming.
Yeah. This is like one of the summer ideas. But I was thinking like, oh yeah, we can go swimming or something like that, and then like it would be like two friends who would be in charge of like filming or taking pictures, and then her and then me, and then at some point I would like excuse myself to like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick, I'll be right back. And so I would go to the bathroom, get changed into like a suit or something, and then I would come back out, and so it would be like, whoa, like what just happened? Like you were in a swimsuit 2 minutes ago. Excuse me. And then I would have like music playing in the background or something like that, and I would get on one knee and propose. So that was one of my ideas, but it seemed a little too complicated, and I don't know, just not flattering. Seeing as like I would be in a suit and she would be in swimming suit, so I was like, okay, yeah, maybe that's not a good idea.
Yeah, that would have been pretty awkward.
Yeah. But it's fine. I really like the way that I did it. I think that was the right one.
Yeah. No, it's funny because you have all these ideas, and then I think the most simple one, and I think I told you before, as I keep it simple. Don't go too overboard. Don't, have a whole spiel ready because you're just going to forget about it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was like, I am just going to say, hey, will you marry me? I know that I said her name, and I know I said a couple of like short sentences before I said, will you marry me? But yeah, I try not to think about it. I was just like, just don't forget, will you marry me? Will you marry me? Will you marry me? Like, that's the important part. Like, I don't care what else comes out of my mouth as long as at the end it ends with, will you marry me? And I think I did. I think I did it okay, so.
You feel like you're prepared for marriage?
Yeah, dude, I feel so ready. So So she's moving in with me to my house, right into my house. Um, and if even before, like way before we were engaged, like I've been thinking about, being married to her for a long time, and there's always been things that I'm like, oh, we could do this with the house, we could do that with this house. Like things would be so much easier once we're like married and we don't have to drive,
Right.
30 minutes to get to each other's houses. Uh, like I know that marriage comes with its own complications, but I
It's an
feel,
adjustment. There's some things, and you'll find out.
yeah,
And it depends. I mean, I don't really know Amber that well because I think we only met her once, and because
yeah,
of all this COVID thing, we haven't hung out that much. But um, it'll be a change in from your bachelor life, your routine, changing it to the married routine. What I mean by that is like you'll notice some of the things that you had a lot of time for, you don't have time for as much anymore.
yeah,
And it's not a bad thing. It's because you have more time to like spend it with your wife and whatnot.
mm-hmm.
But I noticed when for me there was a change, and it took a while. There was a moment where it was kind of difficult for me because back when I was single, I was just staying up till like 2 a.m. Gaming till 2 a.m. Going on like internet, Reddit, and all that stuff. And the adjustment from that lifestyle to to being married is like you want to spend time as much as you can with your wife. You don't want to be just like on the computer all the time.
Yeah,
And that took a while for me to adjust because of just habits and stuff like that.
yeah. I
Have you
think
talked about that with Amber or anything like
I don't think we've talked about it in depth. I know that one of the things that we're really looking forward, like I said, like I was saying earlier, one of the things we're looking forward to is not having to spend 30 minutes driving to and from.
that? Right.
Uh, so I think that itself is already a bit of a time saver. We have talked about like how when we live together, like I don't know, like we don't have to like keep each other entertained, but we still need to be with each other. Does
Oh
that make
yeah.
sense?
You mean like still doing your own thing or
Yeah, like we still get to live our
your me
lives,
time?
but we
Yes.
definitely need to adjust it. Like you bring up a good point. I think we have to adjust it to um like you're still doing your things, but you're there with her and her with me. Um so it's not like I pretend that she doesn't live here, that, anything like that. Like I think everything comes into consideration. Like, hey, she we're married now. Like I can just like she's not a roommate, right?
Right.
Like roommates can kind of do their own thing when they're in the house. Like they can watch TV, play games on their computer, or cook and whatever, and I can just be doing my own thing. Um, and I feel like when you're married, it's probably not like that.
Uh,
Hopefully, it's not like a roommate situation, right?
no, I wouldn't say it's a roommate. It's more of there's some things you gotta negotiate ahead of time. I mean, obviously, there's finances, stuff like that, and I
Yeah.
mean, we could talk about that if I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Have you talked about finances with her at all?
Uh, yeah. Again, not in a lot of depth, but I mean, I told her that she's really good with money.
That's good.
She's very conservative with it, whereas me, I'm more of a ooh candy, buy that, or ooh toys, buy that.
And that's like
um,
part of that's like the adjustment talking about. Like
yeah,
y- I wanted to buy so much camera equipment and stuff like that. I had to curb that because there's
yeah,
more important stuff you got to pay for. Um,
yeah. You gotta plan the spending now.
right, and it's like if you're gonna pay for hobby stuff and then you don't have time for it, and then it's like, what's the point of buying it? So it works
So
out.
I know that we're honestly we're both very financially responsible. Um, like I mean I can say that I wasn't for a very 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 long time. Like I was like I know I still am, but I was very I was an impulsive buyer, and I would buy just about everything and anything for any reason, really. I've become a lot better with my money, and I've become more, uh, what's the word? Like I've turned my focus
Spending
into like,
habits.
yeah, like
Yeah.
so I've shifted my mindset into investing
There you
rather than
go.
spending.
Yeah.
Um, but I still like to spend money. Like I
Nothing
will
wrong with
still
that. Just, I mean, as long as you're controlling it,
right.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you a little bit of my strategy, and I really like the strategy, and I know it works for some people, and I know that for some it won't. And so this is not financial advice,
Yes, you gotta
but
get.
I'm just gonna share with you what I like to do, and it helped me figure out how to spend my money and how to save money as well. But with every paycheck that I get, I I have like four separate bank accounts. And so I have like a specific for savings. I have a specific for like emergencies. I have my main account where I have all my spending, like all the bills, like mortgage,
Nice. Okay.
insurance, car payment, all of that stuff. And then I have one debit card with my spending money. And so I give myself a little bit of money out of every paycheck so that I can use that without hesitation. Now I still think about things before I buy them because I don't have as much money anymore. Like I look at my bank account, I'm like, okay, I have like $100, right? So I'm like, so am I gonna spend $100 on like one camera lens, or am I gonna buy food here and there without feeling like I need to watch how much I'm spending? So
Right.
does that make sense?
No, yeah, yeah. No,
So
that's a good
I
idea.
I really like that, and so as far as Amber and I have talked about like the finances, I told her that she will have access to all of my bank accounts, um, except for my small percentage one. That one is mine to buy all my candy with.
Yeah.
And
No,
if she
that.
wants candy, you got your own money, honey.
No, that's a good system. We kind of did the same thing when we figured out how much that as a household how much we make, and then divide up all the stuff, make a spreadsheets. Oh my gosh,
Mm-hmm.
spreadsheets are great. I love spreadsheets. I love data. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
Google Sheets even works. You set your income, and then you list all your stuff, and you minus that from your income, and then we set like a small amount of money per month for each of us as fun money, spending money.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we try to remind each other that this money is not for house stuff or house supplies. It's literally for stuff that you want to pay, and if you want to buy a new game or new shoes or something like that. And that way there's no discrepancy or any argument about, oh, how much money did you spend on this. We have a set amount, and we don't have to worry
Yep.
about it.
No, I think that's a really good idea, and I think she's gonna like that because she likes. So we've actually talked about how we like organization, and we like uh
Like with money or with like
with
stuff.
everything
Oh,
really.
okay.
But like we talked about how when we were younger we would always like, well, I would enjoy going into like Home Depot and Office Max, and this is like when I'm 10 years old. But I would really like, I would go and look at the desks.
Yeah.
I would go and look at like filing cabinets and all of
Right.
that. I'm like,
Okay.
man, I
Okay.
can't wait for the day where I can put papers in them and actually make sense. I just want to have like everything organized. And it's funny because I was telling this to Amber. She's like, "I love you so much," and like, it's just funny because we have the same type of mentality. So having a spreadsheet is, I think it's
Oh, it's so
really
good.
smart.
So
I
good.
think it's really smart to like keep track of everything. I started keeping track of all my spending. Like I have a ledger
Hmm.
where I write down how I spend my money.
That's good.
Because it also keeps me very conscious of, am I spending this, like am I spending too much on this, or is this valid to buy? So finances, I think will be okay.
That's
I'm
good.
sure I'm sure I'm just saying that right now, and as soon as we're actually married, I know it's gonna be like, oh, we didn't think about this
Yeah, I
or
think
that.
there's definitely will be things that come up. And like we didn't figure out this like our fun money till like way probably like last year or a couple months ago. So, it's just something that you figure out along the way. We do have a question from a viewer here.
Right on. What's
So
the question?
Lance Perry, he asks, within your marriage, do you still plan date nights? So here's another good one. Our system, and all studies and experts, they always say, you should still date within your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And date as in not like just go movie and a dinner, but like something to actually plan for. And so the system that we use is we alternate between months to, set up a date. And that's like, with COVID, we've always had to figure something out at home. So, whether it be Candyland or just something that's not involves, your normal situation. Yeah, I know Candyland, card night, or, the last month, Brittany did like a fondue night, which is great.
Ooh.
So she bought like these, pots that you can melt chocolates and had a plate of crackers and stuff. And it was nothing major, nothing like overly complicated, because I think once it gets too complicated, then you get burnt out. But
yeah, then it's like too much work to come up with the idea.
Yeah.
So do you do like one date night a month or a few a month?
So we do like an official date night once a month, and we have to,
Nice.
set a date. So you're pretty much, it's like when you're dating, like, hey, you want to go on a date on this date, and so
Yeah.
so it's still like fun and all that stuff. And
That's
then
smart.
in between, we just, whether we want to just watch a movie or just something more chill, because it is tiring.
Yeah, no, I
It
bet.
is tiring.
I think movie nights are. I mean, movie nights are going to be a thing with us. Like,
Right.
there's. We were talking about this yesterday of how many movies we still have on our list. A lot of movies that we haven't seen and movies that we want to rewatch.
Or
That
movies
we
that you
watch
want the other
together.
person to watch.
Yeah. Well, we found out that most of the movies are like I put the movies in the list because I've seen all the movies and she hasn't seen a lot of the movies that I've seen, especially 90s movies. And so she's always like, you always have all these weird 90s like comedies, rom-coms and whatnot. I'm like, it's not my fault that I watched these like in the 90s. It was my parents' fault. Uh, but yeah, like we went down our list and most of the movies are from me so that she can watch. And then there's a couple of them that she's the one that showed me.
And that she wants to show you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a good list of movies that we showed each other.
Mhm.
Most recently, Interstellar, that we watched. I've been wanting to have her watch that one. And she showed me some good movies. Dan in Real Life. When I saw the poster.
With Steve Carell, right?
Yeah. And I was like,
that's
and I saw the poster, I was like, not interested.
I don't like pancakes.
But then when I when I watched that movie, I was like, wow, that was one of the best movies. Maybe not best, but one of the good movies I've seen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, she's shown me Les Miserables.
Oh,
Les
Les
Mis-
Miserables.
Blah blah blah.
Wow, your French accent.
Yeah, I'm really good at French. I know it's a very well loved movie.
You never had any desire to watch it before?
I mean, I've never been one to watch a lot of musicals.
Right.
I used to not be really interested in them until later on in life, like my teenage years, and even then it was kind of like, nah, like I'm not really into it. With Les Mis, I had heard good things about it. I just never really had that desire to like really want to watch it.
Yeah, me neither.
But she wanted to watch it, and she's like, let's watch it. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, I do like the actors that are in the movie, and I do like a good, story. And so we watched it, and honestly, I did like the movie. Like, it was a good movie. I just don't have the desire to watch it again.
I think, yeah, I have a rule. It is part of marriage too. Like my rule is like I have a rule where I only watch a movie once a year, at most. Because I feel like if you watch the movie, you don't need to
like
see
the same
it.
movie.
Yeah, you don't need to see the same movie again. I feel like once you've seen a movie, you don't need to watch it again.
Um, but what about Lord of the Rings?
That one, so we do have a. I'll make exceptions.
So is Lord of the Rings an exception?
Yeah, so we actually do have like a yearly watch where we just watch all three in like a day. You guys do
That's
that
cool.
too?
Not yet. We went through all of the Harry Potter movies,
Oh, that one's a
um,
long one.
which is something that I hadn't really done properly, because I had only seen the movies like once in the movie theaters, and that's it. Like I think I saw the first one and the second one like a few times on TV because they were always on ABC during Christmas. Um, but like the later movies, I had only seen once in the movie theaters, and so I started reading the books a little while ago. And so what I was doing is I would read the book and then I would watch the movie. And I had kind of like slowed down on it, and then I was telling her about it, and she's like, "I love Harry Potter. Like Harry Potter's like life." And I was like, "Well, this is what I'm doing." I'm like, "Do you want to watch the movies again?" And so we started watching the movies. And once we caught up to the book where I was, then I would read the book, and then we'd watch
Mm.
the movie, and then I would read the next book, and then the next movie. So we did that, and that was really cool. And and now we're doing it with Star Wars, so we're watching them chronologically. Um, we are 4 movies in, so we're about to watch Solo, and then we're gonna move to like episode 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8.
Nice.
Well, we'll probably skip the sequels, to be honest. Uh,
I mean,
but
that's good that you all have like, and that's one of the like perks of like being married. There's shared experiences that you can have. Movie watching or stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah. But the movies, I think it's like even though I've seen some movies multiple times, or she's seen some movies multiple times, we we haven't seen them with each other, and I think that creates a whole new experience anyway. And so I am excited for movie nights with her. Um, but as far as dating, we are planning on dating. I can't remember who we were talking to, but somebody said after you get married, you still need to date your wife
Yeah, no, that's true.
and
I agree.
or spouse. And I was like, yeah, like I do plan on going on dates. Like I said, along with that list of movies that we have a list of things that we want to do, and a lot of them will fall like well into our marriage life.
Yeah,
And
and if you ever have like, there's so many resources online. Like you just do date night at home, and for now it's COVID. We're just gonna do date night at home, and I've seen like lists of like 100 date night ideas and stuff like that.
ooh, we actually have a book. We have a adventure date night
Oh, that's cool.
where you scratch it off,
Yeah,
excuse me, and it tells you like what you're gonna do.
I've seen those. Those are really cool.
Yeah, no, it's super fun. We've only done a few of them,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but they've been like super fun. And we were talking about doing another one. And honestly, if it wasn't so gloomy right now, we would probably be doing some of them.
No,
But
yeah, I think we have something similar because it came to a point where uh, TV for us just became too easy
mhm.
because after a long day of work, and she has all these chores that she does all day, and so we figured out our own system where you know I help her with some of the chores after work, and then she helps with some of the chores during the day while I work, and by then you're just like so tired, and so it's so easy to just like go into the routine of let's watch TV.
Get some popcorn
and
and watch
so
TV.
and so we just made a like a jar, and then wrote some activities on there, maybe some that we found online, and then just put it in the jar. And then if we're when we catch ourselves like, hey, we're just watching TV, you want to do something, the hard part of figuring something else is done. You just reach in and pull it out.
Sorry. So, that was funny. No, we actually have caught ourselves doing that
Right.
where we're like, hey, we should go on a date and not just like a movie for being indoors. Like we need to go out and do something. And so
Yeah.
we've gone to the park, and we've just gone out to dinner and just stuff like that. Like going out to dinner hasn't been like like we don't do it very much because of, everything that's going on right now. But
Yeah.
sometimes we just kind of have to. Like we really need to like get out of the house. Um, so that's kind of what we've been doing lately. And
What are you most nervous about marriage?
with marriage,
Yeah. Like the marriage lifestyle.
I'm afraid of. I don't know, man. I don't think I've thought about it that much. I mean, I know that there's gonna be some like difficulty. Like, okay, so like I'm an avid gym goer. Like I like to work out a lot, and that's part of my daily routine. That's just I wake up, I read the paper, and then I go to the gym.
You read the
Like,
paper?
you
Like
know.
straight up like the newspaper like that? I'm just imagining you sitting like at your table reading it.
No. I mean, like I go to the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Daily morning routine, and then I and then I go to the gym, and then I come back, and then that's how I start my day. And so like I wonder if that's something that we'll be able to adopt into like a mutual lifestyle, or if it's something that I'm gonna have to adjust to. If it's like if I'll have to go to the gym later in the morning or at nighttime, after work, or like just some of those things that we have to figure out. Same thing with like work.
Mm.
Like are we both gonna want to, get ready at the same time? Like who's gonna go to the other bathroom? Who's gonna be in the main bathroom?
Just make it easier for yourself and go to the other bathroom.
Well, the other bathroom has a bathtub, so I feel like she could go there.
You take baths?
No, I don't. She does.
Okay, all right.
So my shower is just a shower. It doesn't have a bathtub. And then all the other bathrooms have a bathtub. And
all right.
so
I think with gym, so the cool thing about with ours, we actually went to the gym for a while. And
together?
Yeah, we went together and it was nice. And I think it was like every Wednesday night we would go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a good routine, do the steps and stuff like that. I noticed that I didn't do as much as I would before. I remember I'd do deadlifts and all that stuff before. And then it's kind of weird when you go to the gym and you're like, all right, see you in 30 minutes. I'll be on the other side of the gym, So it was weird in that sense. So we just like did, the cardio stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I pretty much said goodbye to deadlifts. At the same time, I was like, well, I don't really need to look that good anymore since you're married. So we stopped going to the gym. Not only because it was it wasn't as we could do the stuff at home.
Mm-hmm.
That and it was money. We didn't. Why spend so much if you're just gonna go like once a week? So, and now we have our own system where she does yoga in the other room, and then I do my VR boxing, which is like really good cardio.
Ooh,
and then just like alternate, and it works for me. Like I'm not gonna be like super buff, Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger or whatever, but I think at this point my priority is I just want to be healthy.
Yeah. No, I think that's really important. And that's one of the things that I'm like, okay, like, why do I go to the gym kind of thing? Like for a long time, it was just to like, it is to impress women, right? Like I think that's part of the mentality of it.
And you still want to impress your wife, right?
Well, yes.
You don't want to,
And I know that most people, and I mean that in a very general way. I know a lot of people, like as soon as they get married or as soon as they get into like a serious relationship, they kind of like disregard like the whole health routine.
Right.
And that hasn't been the case for me. And I've shown Amber that working out and staying healthy is like, it's like one of my top priorities. And at this point, I do go to the gym mostly to stay healthy.
Yeah.
Part of me, I still want to prove to myself, I can get a six-pack again. Like I know I can do it. Like I've done it before when I was a freaking teenager. I can do it again. but my body hates me. And fries are just too good. But um, but I actually do enjoy working out. I feel like it's a good de-stressor. Kind of helps me clear my mind, and I always feel like accomplished. Like even like so this morning I woke up like super late. I still went to the gym. I
Yeah.
sat in the car for like 10, 15 minutes and I was like, I really don't want to go in there. And like the fact that it's like raining and it's kind of cold and I'm like, I really just don't feel like going in, but still went in, still worked out. It was great. Uh I did do deadlifts, which is something I hadn't done in a long time because of a back injury I had earlier in the year. But but yeah, and then I tell Amber, I'm like, yeah, I just got back from the gym. She's like, cool, what did you do? And then when she goes to the gym with me, we do the same things.
Yeah.
And it's really impressive because she doesn't work out often, but when she works out with me, she's like super strong. She's got really strong legs too. Like I'm there doing like press, like leg press,
Yeah. Yeah.
like 300 pounds, pushing up. And I'm like, okay, it's your turn. And we probably want to take like 3 plates off or something like that. No, she did the same way I did. And you know
Wow,
what?
impressive.
I love it. I love that. I love that she will push hard um, when it comes to it, and she continues to impress me, especially because I've been going to the gym for so many years, and the gym is like a whole new world for her. So um, we have talked about going to the gym together after we get married. Uh, since again she doesn't have to drive 30 minutes to get to the gym with me, so we can go together. Hopefully we can make it a steady thing, and if not, then that is going to be one of those things that we get adjusted for.
Yeah, no, and it's different for everybody. Like I think some couples that'll go to the gym like every Wednesday, that will work for them. Maybe that's their a part of their like date night because they probably love going to the gym together. So it's like a hobby that they both share. So I think it really depends. Like I
Yeah.
thought for us, like gym was gonna be great, and then we just sat down. We're like, money wise, and it's like we don't need to spend that. We can do it at home, and so we found something that worked for us. So
But what were you going to like a $60 a month gym or something like that? Oh, you were. Dang. Yeah. No, I don't.
yeah,
I don't do that. I did that for a bit, and yeah, it was too expensive. I'm like, I literally go and lift weights. I'm like, I don't need. I don't need some fancy schmancy expensive gym. Like I just need weights, and that's all I do.
yeah, that's all it really is. But all right, you ready for some hard hitting questions?
Oh man, questions for me?
I think because this one was something that we had to figure out, and it was our fighting styles.
Ooh.
So I guess and I guess more specifically with like conflict resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know your type of conflict resolution?
No.
In terms of like, do you need if you're in a heated moment and you just need to take a moment and just walk away kind of situation when you're.
Yeah. Well. Okay. So when it comes to like arguments, I feel like I'm more of a. I've 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 looked at myself
Yeah.
a lot lately, in general, not like with her. Um, but I have come to the conclusion that I'm a pacifist, a
Mm.
peacemaker.
Yep.
Look at whatever's going on. I'm like, okay, how do we come to an agreement? How do we make this like argument stop or this fight stop kind of thing, right? Um, with Amber, I think we've only had like 2 or 3 disagreements. Um, and I mean, we don't become aggressive. We
That's
just
good.
uh, I honestly just kind of like shut down.
I,
So like
I kind of do the same thing.
so like like it's things are happening, things are being said, and because I do try to be a pacifist, of what my head does is like it shuts everything down, like don't say anything because anything you say will be held against you,
uh,
right?
for
So my
me,
mind just
it's yeah.
so I automatically just shut up. And then as soon as I like stop saying anything, my mind just starts. Okay, this might be a little nerdy, but think of it as like Doctor Strange going through like the 1400 million outlooks.
Possibilities.
My mind just starts going like, okay, like if you say this, if you do this, what's going to be the outcome of that?
Yep.
If you do this and you do that, what's going to be the outcome of that? And if that's the outcome, then how do you, you know, like my mind just starts going through all these like options. And so, um, it's not as cool looking as Doctor Strange. I just look very pissed
You don't
off.
have your fingers like the thing where your head's going like this.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. If we get in an argument, I'm just gonna be like, just gonna float.
And then she asks, "What, where, which, how many solutions did you find?" And you'd be like, "One."
Yeah. So, um, yeah, I think we're both kind of the same way. Like we just kind of like become a little quiet, and then we just kind of shut down a little bit. Um,
I have the
always,
same thing where I kind of don't say anything because when I'm in like that heated moment, it's just like you just you don't want to say things that you'll regret later, type things.
exactly.
So, and it's a lot of stuff that during when you're heated moments, you say things that are just in the moment, and it's like unnecessary, and it just makes it worse. So it's like, and so in a sense, which is good for me, but then it's bad in a sense because it leaves her out of like what's he thinking about, and so you don't
Yeah, like,
talk, and so that's where the issue comes in. So,
yeah,
and I'm still learning that too.
yeah. I know that it'll probably not probably. I know it's going to be a learning curve as
Yeah.
well. Um, we do talk about it afterwards, and luckily, whenever we have our disagreements, and I say disagreements because I can't say that we've had an actual full on argument because I don't think we've ever like
Yelled at each other.
yelled at each
No,
other or
that's
anything
good.
like that.
That's really good.
It's just been more kind of like, oh man, like this sucks. Like what do we do about this kind of thing, you know? Um, and yeah, like it sucks at the moment, and it sucks for me because I do want to say what's going on in my mind. It's just kind of like I need to process it, and
Yep.
like my mind just becomes overheated, and it's
Yep.
kind of like it slows
Overthinks.
down.
Oh, yours
And
slows down. Wow.
well, like I go through all these things that
Right.
I just can't quickly like come up with a response. And so even if she's like saying something to me or asking me to like say something, I'm still kind of like I still don't know what to say. Like I need to figure out exactly what I'm gonna say before I say anything. But once we like after the moment passes, we do talk about it and everything as well. And and we are aware of how I get quiet, and and it's something that we want to work on
Yeah.
for future times. So yeah, I think like it's good to talk about this kind of stuff with your partners. Um, make sure that
Because there's a lot of
you
things that you don't even think about, and it comes up. Because I
yeah.
mean, you're essentially merging two lives together, and it's like,
Mhm.
I do things like this, and then she does things like that, and you're like, oh, whoa. I always thought, because I grew up like this, I thought that's how it was, and it's just always a constant like, oh, culture shock versus like personality differences and stuff like that. So, but it's all part of it. That's all part of like the whole fun of it.
The I'll never forget the toothpaste example.
Toothpaste
Something
example.
something that my parents talked about after like a breakup that I had like years ago,
Oh yeah.
and it's something I noticed with uh with Amber's her she will squeeze the toothpaste in the middle, and I don't. I go from the top. I always squeeze from the top and I come down. And so when I noticed that, I was like, huh, so you squeeze from the middle, huh?
Ah.
And she's like, does that bother you? I'm like, no, it's fine. It's just I don't do it like that. And honestly, it doesn't bother. I really don't care. I just think it's funny because that's what my parents said. Like, when you're married, you are gonna have like differences, things that you do differently.
Yeah.
Uh, when it comes to like your normal day to day lifestyle kind of thing. And my dad's like, yeah, but just because your mom squeezes in the middle and I squeeze at the top doesn't mean that we're gonna get a divorce or anything like that. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. I'm like, there's just like all these little small differences that are not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
In all reality, um, I think the dishwasher is gonna be the biggest shock because I don't use the dishwasher. I freaking hate the dishwasher.
You hand wash?
Oh yeah, everything, 100%. And I've only used the dishwasher when there's like a lot of like piled up dishes. Then I'll be like, okay, yeah, let's do the dishwasher. But other than that, I just rather clean it right then, put it away.
I used to be like that too, and I think we
Oh
adjusted.
no, you caved. You caved.
No, it was because I didn't need to use one. The output of my plates and stuff like that, it wasn't that much, so it kind of was like useless to use a dishwasher. The funny thing was the difference was that, she washes the dishes and then puts it in the dishwasher. So it's like double washing.
That's why I don't like the dishwasher. Because people wash the dishes, they scrub everything up. So you're already washing it, and then you put it in the dishwasher, and then you waste more water.
And it was
just wash it. Just freaking wash it.
And so and it's crazy because then that's one thing that she had to adjust and I had to adjust, and it's a give and take type situation. So
yeah.
So to answer your original question, it's sort of like roommates. You have to figure out the other person, except now you get to sleep with them.
Man.
And on that note, hope you guys enjoyed the show.
Yep.
We talked about marriage this week, and we actually had planned to talk about children this time, but we might have to save that for next week. But if you enjoyed it and enjoy what we talk about, go ahead and like and subscribe, and you'll get notified when our next live event comes.
That's right.
Anything you want to add?
No, same thing. Just leave us your comments and questions. Let us know what you'd want to hear us talk about. And thank you, everybody, for listening. Everybody listening live, thank you. And those that listen later, thank you.
Thank you for asking questions, too. That was great.
Yeah, that was awesome. But yeah, thank you. And
we'll catch you next time.
Be up until for all of you. I don't even know what I'm saying. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Next
all right.
Wednesday.
See ya.
Okay, bye.